What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen. Very excited to have you guys joining us. I actually thought this would be a little bit more in focus. I don't know if you guys can see this. Check this out. It's a Baby Yoda little mug. I know you guys call him Grogu, but he's really Baby Yoda. We all know that. Anyway, hey, I hope you guys are having a great day. We have an excellent show for you. Before we start, a couple quick reminders. First and foremost, if you like the show, like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help us. And, you know, we have some big plans in the next month or so. So the more that you guys can do that, the more it helps us out. There we go. I think I just wanted to adjust this. You can tell my OCD is on when I'm like, I'm a little off center. Additionally, if you guys want to check out the Grappling Hour Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/Grappling Hour. You can see my interviews 30 days before anybody else, and for a few extra dollars, not too much, we can make some additional bonus content that you guys may enjoy, including tape studies, roast RAF, where people roast my competition footage, and much, much more. Additionally, we are putting up shows on our Apple Podcasts and our Spotify pages, so go check that out if you have not gotten caught up on our latest offerings. And I think the last big thing is, honestly, join our Discord over at grapplinghour.com. We're putting up questions of the day again, and I'm very excited about that. But speaking about being excited, I am very happy to see longtime friend of the show, Tim Freeman, over on the other side of the world. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
What's going on, man? I'm managing to stay cool out here in the hot and muggy South. We got a lot of great grappling to talk about, though, so I'm stoked. And it's nothing like the triple digits back in Stockton right now, so I'm actually sitting kind of nice and cool. Too bad, so sad if you're out in the 209.
I wanted to point this out. I saw this go up, and I was like, oh, well, we have a comment, but you're the comment, so it took me a second here. Either way, I'll take whatever comments we get, because this one's nice. So very happy to see that one.
Yeah.
And yes, we do have a guest this week, and he is a longtime friend of the show. And guess what? We wanted to bring on some of our PGF family. You know him as a commentator. You may also know him as the most statistically accurate analyst in PGF history. Don't double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's accurate. Ladies and gents, please welcome your friend and ours, EGGHEAD. EGGHEAD, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome. And as they say, 93% statistics are all made up. So
you can't listen, EGGHEAD. You cannot just be throwing out stuff like that, because this is a weird world in that nobody is going to correct your stats. Like, nobody is that committed there. And we have people in the comment section who are probably very much rooting you on, including Wallow J, who said, like, comment, let's go, fellas. See, look, love that. I saw it go up. We appreciate you, Wallow. Gents, I do have a couple quick items that we should probably check on here, which is first and foremost, Egg, we caught you at a very particular time, so we're happy to have you on, but you're a busy man. You are in the middle of a move here? Like, what is happening here, sir?
Yeah, Raph, I am in the middle of a cross-country move. So the movers just came yesterday and packed up everything in my house, and they're going to load it up tomorrow, take the truck out there. We're going to clean up the house for the new owners, and then on Saturday, early as can be, go west, young man. I'll be joining you in California in a handful of days.
Hey, man, we're happy to have you, but you put something on the board that we didn't have the ability to do, but I'm going to bring this over to a longtime California resident in Tim Freeman. He was asking us if we have any advice or tips for him in terms of places where you can maybe go to start training, Tim. So you're tapped in. Do you have any recommendations, perhaps? Because it does seem he'll be SoCal based.
We're talking Southern California. Are we talking inland, or are we talking coastal?
I'm maybe living in Vista.
Vista. Oh man, I think there's a 10th planet out there. I would go there if it was me. However, you might be a guy that still likes to put on the finer tailored clothing of the kimono, and that's okay. I still have my kimonos hanging up in the academy, and I slide them on from time to time when I'm feeling like choking out some students who don't know anything in the gi, and I want to feel good about myself again. I just put the gi on and get it after them. Yeah, I mean, I would check out 10th Planet. There's a lot, man, dude, in that area, there's so many good schools. I don't have one place to recommend. You've been out of that game for a minute, but there's so much good training. And if you could take the drive into San Diego or even Northern County San Diego, there's a lot of good training out there. You're going into paradise in terms of training. Not so much in terms of people, but paradise in terms of training. So
You will get acclimated, I'm sure, fairly quickly. But the nice part about at least that area is that hopefully you're going to run into more of the breezy individuals, the more people who are a little bit more like, bro, I can't even get mad because there's ocean. So I just got to go relax, man. That is my hope for you, because those people you can get along with great. And especially that jiu-jitsu culture, you and Majid Hage might become besties very quickly.
I agree. I mean, there's a wealth, I mean, an embarrassment of riches of all the amazing gyms in the San Diego area. And I'm sure I'll cross train and try them out just to at least get that experience. But I think for the home gym, a lot of it just has to do with logistics. Is it something I can hit on the way to work? I mean, I was always the 6 a.m. class with my current gym just because I can knock it out while everyone else is asleep. Then, get the kids off to school, get to work and stuff like that. And we'll just have to see. We'll have to look at schedules and map out the locations, etc. I'm sure I'll find a great place. But thanks for the advice.
Yeah, I think that's actually the smartest. The gym you can get to the most is usually the gym you should train at. Unless there's some like real nefarious reason why you shouldn't be there, that's usually the best gym for you because you could actually get in and do it, which is almost always more important than, oh, he's got to be a world-class instructor. I can't train there. So
I want to point this out because you're a better person than I am in this regard. If I was looking for a new gym, it would be a segment in the show. Like, I would turn it into a giant, like, win this prize, everybody. Everybody knows this is a wanted commodity to beat me up. So this isn't coming easy. It is best bidder wins. And what do you guys got for me?
That's great.
Well, it's definitely not easy to beat up Egghead, as much as people would like to think. So it will be a challenge for people in my new gym, and they'll probably play this back to me after they tap me out a bunch. But I am dedicated. I have a lot of fun, and unlike when you see me walking around, I'm actually a real goofball in the mats. So I think I bring some levity myself, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to finding a good team.
It is legitimately helpful in this sport when people don't take themselves too seriously, because it is a concern. And I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but I definitely have, where in talking with somebody, there's a moment where I go, uh-oh, this dude really is into himself. I got to check out. And my brain just leaves. Like, it goes, nope. And I'm sitting there stuck in this conversation like, uh-oh. This dude hasn't made one self-deprecating joke and has talked about his medals. I need to leave. Okay. What's the quickest way out of this? So there is that. Couple quick little notes here. We want to say hello and thank you to our friends. Wallow J says, Egg is always right 60% of the time. Factual. And Moose Keys says, BJJ Balance Pod listeners tapping in for a second week. Finger red number 1 Os. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming back. Makes us very happy to hear all of you BJJ Balance people. Last week, Matt did a great job. And the good news is we have somebody of equal ability to give a hot take here. So, gents, I'm just saying right now, why don't we go ahead and transition straight to the board? It is an interesting week, and we'll start with this. Yesterday, I just happened to be scrolling through my Instagram, and one hit me flat on the face, and it is a match that I didn't know that I needed. But now that I see it, it makes me wonder how it'll go. And yes, you're looking at Davi Ramos, depending on how you say it. Some people say it like he's an Austin Powers character. But Davi Ramos versus Mika Galvão. And I have to ask this, Tim, was this on your radar? Did I not know about this? Did you know about this? Was anybody informed? Because now that I see it, I really want it.
I did not know about this. I do know about BJJ Stars. They have come up. They've done several events in the past, but it wasn't really on my radar. We're talking BJJ Stars 13 Viking edition. And I've been trying all day to make the connection between Vikings and jiu-jitsu. I don't have that sorted out yet, but I do like the name Viking edition. This is a big match, man. It was not on my radar, but Davi Ramos is, a top-notch jiu-jitsu guy. This is a guy that won ADCC. This is a guy that's had some UFC fights. I think he's 10-4. He's a real tough dude. He's getting up there in age a little bit at 38, and I can say that. I'm 46, so I'm allowed to say that. He's going up against a guy that's 17 years younger than him. That's Mika Galval. He's 21. He is a shooting star in the world of jiu-jitsu right now. It's a big-time match for both guys. And, if Davi pulls this out, it's a major, major win for him. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Mika's going to get to his back. That's what I think is ultimately going to happen, but it has to be played out. It looks like a good event. Tynan's on the card. Francisco Lowe's on the card. There's some other good names on there, so I'm interested in seeing it. It's a points tournament. It'd be nice if it maybe wasn't that format. I hope that doesn't alter the pace of the jiu-jitsu or the aggression or the attacking for the submissions. I think I have such an appetite for no-gi sub-only jiu-jitsu now. It's a little harder to watch point stuff, but big card, man. I'm looking forward to seeing how those matches come out.
Egg, I have to ask you, how do you see this match going?
Well, I just look at the resumes and the momentum going into this. I mean, Mika Galval was a heartbeat away from being the 2022 ADCC champion. He just got his foot in the wrong spot, and Rotolo took advantage. I thought Mika was winning that match, but right now, he just got freaking IBJJF World Championship this year, the Pan Championship this year, European Championship this year, Brazilian Nationals. I think isn't the Grand Dang Slam, and he's going up against a guy who hasn't had a win since 2018. He hasn't competed since 2021. And as Tim said, is way older than him. I think Mika's just going to grind him down, not only with current skill, but also with his youth and just endurance. I doubt it's a good match.
I have to say this. I don't know that it's not a good match. I just know the difficulty of trying to keep up with young people. And one of my favorite things in the world was, and I don't think we've talked about this, about a couple weeks ago, I signed up for a tournament. I went to go to the front desk. I said, hey, do I have an opponent? They go, we don't have anybody in your class. And I go, okay. So do I have a match today? And they go, you'll find out in an hour. And I go, oh, God, okay. But I'm kind of grumpy because I've been losing a few pounds. So can we figure this out? And they're like, come back in an hour. I come back in an hour. And their first option was, okay, so we found out nobody's as old as you. However, our options are as follows. Do you want to go up against the 18 and over kids? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm game for a lot of things, but these mini-me's running around me is not exactly how I want to spend my Sunday. And if y'all could just do me the honor, and they're like, no, we have one more option for you. And I go, well, what's the other option? They go, you could also take on somebody 30 pounds over you in that weight category. And I was like, these are the best options you have for me. They're like, well, they're closer in age. They're like 5 years younger than you. And I go, I'm going to take my credit now. Thank you. This has been fun. So when everybody saw me there, I don't know if you guys ever experienced this, but because we do these sort of things, somebody sees me and they go, are you competing today? And I go, I don't know. Just, like I'm over there just trying to get a nap in, not being grumpy. And they expect host draft to be there like, hey, what's up? Joke. And I go, I don't know if I'm competing. Not very pleased. I'd rather just know. And as soon as I knew there was no kids there, I was like, you know what? Pizza. Screw this. I'm going to go feed myself. So I don't know how somebody could tell themselves, you know what? This Mika Galvo, world class, one of the best in the world. Yeah, why not? Let's party. Let's go do that. So a tough task, I would say, but I'm very pleased to see Davi Ramos is going to be in that. So it could be very interesting. Tim, you bring up a good point. BJJ Stars is not new. They've been putting on events for a long time. This one in particular did pique my interest because, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is August 3rd. So this is very close to that ADCC time where you would think maybe you're not really taking high profile matches, let alone one that close against that kind of opponent if you're Mika.
Yeah. And it's in Brazil. It's not close. It's not just I don't know if Mika lives in Brazil, but he seems to be competing in the U.S. quite often. I imagine he probably trains out here mostly, probably, if he doesn't live here. So I don't know. That could have an impact on him for sure. He could get hurt. Davi's a big dude. He's aggressive. He's rough. He's good. It's not like he's not good. So anything can happen. But maybe he's looking at this like it's a warm-up match or a tune-up. But does he really need a tune-up? Here's the thing. Does Mika need a tune-up? I doubt it. He could probably take the rest of the time off and show up and still be elite level. So we'll see.
I feel like we're getting a peek as to how Mika shows up at his open mat. Like, if he shows up to his open mat, he doesn't look for the easiest roll first. He probably figures out, like, nah, you're the other savage here. Let's go. And you're like, bro, do you need to warm up? And he goes, no, I'm good. Let's go. So let's just figure this out. Thank you for that, Wallow. I agree. Pizza is a good choice. People have their win or loss meals. I have told people in the past, it doesn't matter. Some tournaments, I have literally promised myself, win or lose, I'm getting In-N-Out burger. Like, I have told people, like, you know what? I'm going to get myself an In-N-Out burger if I win. And then I did not win, and I still found myself in the line. So that's the beauty of being an adult. Gentlemen, we're going to go to our next topic right now. And I thought this was interesting. Tim, you found this one, and you brought it to our attention, but it definitely made headlines. Kenta made a huge jump this week, and I wasn't sure if he was going to do it. And he is essentially closing out the under 80 kg division. Adding to the plus 80 kg division, you have Muhammad Ali, who is coming in, and that only leaves one spot. So I'd like to get reactions here. I'll start with you, Egg. What was your reaction to seeing one jump and one addition with both of these gentlemen?
Well, I think that Kenta Aomura, for marketing purposes, is great. I mean, he's come from Japan, so he brings in the whole Asian market. It's a very smart move by Craig Jones. Also being a ADCC Trials champion 3 times in a row, that's huge. And then when you actually look at his ADCC matchups, man, he's just run into some rough competition. 2019, he hit Paul Miao, and if you look back to then, in that little bit of time, seeing how much muscle he's put on, it's pretty impressive. And then he ran into JT Torres in 2022 with a whole 15 minutes and only lost by advantage, taking down JT Torres. I think he's got a lot of skills. He likes leg lock games. He likes takedowns. He likes foot sweeps. So it could be a really good situation for him when they have those 3 rounds. He could really get some judges going his way with the way he fights.
Absolutely. Tim, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is not, this is another loss for ADCC. This is another guy who happened to have won the Asian Oceania Trials, which kind of sounds nefarious. It sounds like something from 1984, but he won those trials. And I think Levi Jones also won those trials as well and jumped over. And now Iwamoto jumps over. This guy, he's tough. He's been in ADCC twice already, so they were probably counting on him. And now he makes the jump over to CJI. I know he's not a household name, but he's got some notable wins, man. He's beat Joseph Chin on points. He's beat Keith Krikorian. He's not a stranger to tough competition. He trains with the B team. He also trains in a lot of different places. The guy travels a lot. He's all over the place. He's a judo black belt. This is a great addition for CJI. It might kind of seem like, who's that guy? If you're not really following it too close, you might just think like, oh, they just threw some dude in. But he's a great addition to round out that that particular bracket. And then with Ali jumping in, Ali hasn't been active for a while. It's been a while, but when he was active, this guy was a winner. Like he hardly ever lost. He won Worlds, IBJJF. I think the knock on him, or the potential pitfall for him, is that all of his high level wins came in the gi. They all came IBJJF. I think he might have a no gi win mixed in there with his accolades, but he was for sure a gi competitor. And he's going to be stepping into a different format. It's going to be no gi. The game has changed a lot in the last 5 years, so it could be a challenge for him. But it's a pretty interesting addition. It might not be a big name like everybody wanted. Everyone's like Bushecha, Hodger, all those guys. But and I get it. I said those names too. But I think it's kind of like a little bit of a mystery bag. Like, how is this guy going to do? Maybe he will make a run and get a little further than what we expected. Maybe he'll win it. I don't think he's going to win it, but who the heck knows, man? He's tough and he's a winner. So even though ADCC's been kind of quiet, it's just like, man, they're still taking losses. At some point, they're going to need a win. Something's going to have to push for them. But yeah, man, big stuff there. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's good for Kenta, good for Muhammad. Either one of those guys could walk away with $1 million. So good on
I just
them.
wanted to point this out, though. There is a slight win for ADCC, and I don't know that you guys saw this. Perhaps you guys were so busy preparing for this show that you didn't see the biggest announcement that ADCC has made on their account, which is that, y'all, they have an official post ADCC after party signed at Hakkasan nightclub. So take that,
MGM,
Craig
baby.
Jones Invitational.
MGM, let's go. Yeah, wow. Good job, guys. Hey, priorities, right? Priorities.
I love the fact that I know there is a contingent of fans that at the last couple times they've done this, they like the ability to go up and interact with some of the athletes at a poolside sort of melee, if you would. For me, I like talking to people very quickly afterwards. I think it's nice if you're in a similar setting. I've gone to after parties in jiu-jitsu. I think it adds a little bit to the parasocial aspect of this whole thing, which is just like, Buchecha's my best friend. It's like, no, Buchecha's just trying to let loose and have fun because this shit sucks to prepare for. And this is their one day of having fun. So if you could kindly just let these guys have some fun. And I wonder now, what if Craig booked that venue for the day before? Like, is that part of something we should be looking at here? Or has Craig Jones Invitational been holding that as like their last thing to be like, actually, we have a better party and ours is at the same club where Tupac got shot? Like, what do they have in store? It's a notable place. People want to go there. I just want to point this out, though. Like, when you think about all of these things, the fact that ADCC, we mentioned this last week, has run out of adjectives for their athletes. Like, whenever they start talking about them, they go, this dude, he took third in a trials, I think. And he's vaguely a nice dude. He responds well. Look for him this August, whenever the fuck it is. Man, I'm so tired. Like, I feel like that's the way they're addressing their social media posts.
Yeah.
And I want to point this out. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I don't even mind the announcements. I'm just kind of over the same music that ADCC has picked for every single person, because when I thumb through all of those stories, I hear the same and I go, no, keep going, and it keeps and I go, oh my god, pick a different song. I know it's good for a uniform thing, but maybe like one song per weight category. I know there's extra this year, but I beg of you, just give us something a little different, because it's made me go from thinking, oh, it's some sort of weird patriotic, can't wait to go fight music, to I'm having a visceral reaction to how much I don't enjoy it now.
It's like your alarm clock. You know, if you hear the alarm clock tone go off in the middle of the day, you're like, no.
It is 100%. You know what? I'm going to change my alarm clock to that, and I'll sure as hell get up in the mornings.
Oh, no.
No. I need that, like, I need that brisk. What I've done with my alarms is I have the regular ones, and then I have one that's off the regular so that it makes me go, oh, that means we can't fuck around anymore. We have to get up now.
That's a good tactic right there. I might steal that. I'm going to recommend that to my wife, who's a chronic alarm clock snoozer.
Oh, no.
Bad idea. Yeah.
Well, it's hard to get up on one alarm. Hey, Egghead, how many alarms do you need? Tell me it's one.
It's one, or I wake up before it.
Egghead doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep. He's up. He sleeps with one eye open. The eye's always on his alarm.
That's true. But going back to the jumping thing real quick, I mean, it seemed like, you're talking about Craig Jones just being ahead of ADCC. Has there ever been any talk of him having a possible mole in the ADCC organization? Because it seemed like, ADCC would announce somebody and like less than 24 hours later, went to Craig Jones. So was there a mole, or just like some people were like hoping ADCC called them so that then they could parlay that into CGI?
Can I really express who I think the mole is? I think you just need to take out 2 letters from that. It's Mo.
Yeah.
I think legitimately the mole for ADCC is Mo getting on a live and telling you the playbook and then going like, no one will ever steal this idea to my 40 friends on this Instagram live with me right now. Oh no, my comeuppance has come back. Who knew? And what I love is they've just pretended like Kenta wasn't in ADCC. They immediately take that down. And I'm hard pressed to think of any other way to handle that situation. It is just so funny to go from 4 days ago being like, this dude is prestigious and amazing and we love him, and he's gone. I've never heard of him. Who? Kenta? Oh, he won Asian trials. Weird. Anybody can win Asian trials. Like, they immediately go into their, I'm not sure who you're talking about. I want to point this question out that we got here, which is, this is from Tyler Sage. It says, one more spot left in the plus 80 kg division. Can we get a sumo dude in there just for kicks? I bet Craig would be down for it. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, let's do it. That's not a bad idea, especially, if one of these sumo guys has a little bit of ground game. We know they can throw, and we know they can push, and we know they know how to use their weight. So it might be kind of an interesting spectacle to see if a sumo dude could actually make it out of the first round. And Craig seems like he's pretty open to international grappling, if you'll say. Like, he's not just fixed on one particular style. I think he'd be open to it. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tyler Sage, by the way. That's the super dependable wrestling coach I was telling you all about.
Oh, shit. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
So Raf, if I could, I think I see the sumo's path to success here. I mean, obviously they push him, so they take him down, they mount, and you got to believe they're good at the mother's milk and just lather, rinse, repeat.
Oh, yeah. Push them into the pit wall. It's angled back at 45 degrees. Lay on top of them, on top of the wall, and just give them a full Dolly Parton treatment. And just give it to them, man.
Boom.
The thing I like most about that strategy is that it doesn't require a full takedown. I think if you angle yourself just the right way, you can Michael Jackson smooth criminal your way into them, and it'll do most of the job, honestly. Like, most of you guys are talking about an actual throw. Dude, use your weight and use that there. Yeah. And I love this as a big thing, a big obstacle for our guys. I know a lot of these guys are like, I'm ready for a wrestler. I'm ready for Kenta's judo. Oh, shit, I'm not ready for this dude to just be that much bigger than me.
Right.
And it's for $1 million. This dude is going to 100% pancake me into that 45-degree angle right there. So, eek. But yes, Tyler, thank you for that.
A lot of chicken nuggets, man.
I appreciate you. Wallow J, it says music is where they save their money to pay the athletes. Well, it is for sure some sort of weird
I hope they didn't pay for that. Yeah, I hope it's an AI thing. Like Bing AI make some sounds to make people crazy.
You know, I don't take away the fact that it could just be me. I try to approach every one of these topics on, is this just my crazy or is this our crazy? I feel like we've all heard the music enough to maybe be in the same boat of, yeah, maybe Raf's got a point on that one. So I'm just saying, not trying to lead the witness here. Let's go to our next topic, gents. We're going to make our way through this one, and we go to a very interesting progression from one Ty Ruotolo. So Ty Ruotolo ended up beating Joseph Chen. It was a very interesting match. It did kind of go the way I thought it would. What I didn't expect was for him to call out Nicholas Miragali. Tim, you were the one to point this out. I'd like to ask you your thoughts on the progression of what is happening with Ty Ruotolo.
So, I think a few things are happening. This is a guy that went from a rising star to a bona fide star. And he had a big time match against Joseph Chen at One Grappling. It was highly anticipated. Both guys are really on the up right now. And it was a good match. I don't like the ring size. I think it was a little small for a grappling match. I'm not a fan of grappling in the ring, but and I think those guys need more time. And it's not that they're going slow. It's that they're so dynamic. They needed a little bit more time against each other for something to play out. It was a pretty good match. I did enjoy watching it, but the thing that got me was Ty was pretty fired up at the end of the interview. And he immediately, when they asked him, what he wanted to do next, he was like, man, I want Miragali. He's avoiding me. He doesn't want any of me. And, if you look back in the timeline between these two guys, Miragali beat Ty in the semifinals at ADCC 2022. And it was a very, very slim decision. A lot of people think Ty won. Ty hit a beautiful Uchimata on him, had him in a Dars. They had a lot of back and forth online about it, and Ty's pretty salty about it. He feels like he won that match, and a lot of people agree with him. A lot of athletes agree with him. But Miragali is he's like in his I don't know what phase, man, but he's got a very interesting persona right now, and it's very much not super friendly to people who are salty towards him. And he had some comments back, and they went back and forth, and then nothing has really come out of it since then. And Miragali is mostly focused on ADCC coming up, and I think Ty wants it back. So I say, man, maybe Ty wins CJI. Here's the best scenario: Ty wins CJI. Miragali wins ADCC, and someone somewhere, maybe it's PGF, maybe it's somewhere else, they get these guys together in a super fight. That would be really freaking cool, and maybe that could be the start of a real championship in no-gi grappling. You take the two winners of those brackets and you make them fight. But yeah, man, a lot of beef there, and I wouldn't want to have beef with Ty Ruotolo. I think this kid's only getting better. I don't think he's going to get worse. And I think he's not going to forget. He's going to get that one back. So,
Egg, do you have beef with Ty Ruotolo? And if not, tell us why you think him versus Miragali is an interesting matchup.
Well, I don't have any beef with the Ruotolos. I think both brothers are the future of submission grappling. They bring in energy. And just a will to dominate and a will to submit their opponents that is exciting. I mean, they are exactly what we want for the CJI. They're exactly what we want for the PGF. They're exactly what every fan wants to watch when they want to tune into submission grappling. As far as him against Miragali, yeah. I think you talked about it last week on the bullpen. I think who's number one might be the biggest winners of this feud between ADCC and CGI, like you said, having to have that playoff match, if you will, between the two champions to figure out who the real champ is. But I'd be remiss because I was asked who I might want to have go up against him. May I have an additional amount of time? I know our segment time has ran out.
You've got some time. I'll give you a few extra seconds.
Okay. Well, I just want to say this almost a mea culpa, almost eating some crow, but somebody who's I'm really be excited to see him go up against would be Hinato Canuto.
Mm.
Going into BGF World 6, there are some detractors that questioned, his killing stroke or his killing, desire. So seeing that he's a guy that can play on the outside and do point matches. But seriously, during PGF World 6, we saw some amazing things. An amazing flying armbar. He had the steam lock, the rear naked choke. But then after that, we saw him in the UFC Fight Pass Invitational 7 going up against very dangerous Aaron Wilson and hitting that really amazing counter to this the single leg where he did kind of that scissor takedown straight to the heel hook. And then he just did the Aiga Brazil, got a rear naked choke and a Tarico Plata. I mean, I think he's really getting into that sweet spot where he's going for the kills, and he's always been really exciting. He's so smooth, so fast. I think that'd be a great match.
Thank you for that. And also, let it be known you're the first person to do this who actually was like, hey, the clock's run out of time. And I go, yeah, I know. Listen.
What are you doing, Egg?
My job as moderator is to really just kind of ballpark it. And the good news is, this is kind of like when you're on Netflix and you can run a certain thing and you're not on pay-per-view or you're not on network TV. No one's yelling at us to get off air. And I have to say, a lot of our goons, I don't know if they've smoked out. I don't know if our demo just has realized we're on. It takes them a little while. They tend to show up when Tim and I are like, and I think it's time to go. And they come with 12 questions and you go, we were ready to sign off, but you showed up and we're gluttons for your silliness. So we'll indulge that. I would like to point this out. Yes. Very happy for Ty. I think part of the reason that they appeal to all of us is, on the one side, they appeal to that traditional martial arts respect, heritage, a lot of them just trying them to do it the right way without steroids, without PEDs. So there's a nobility to their cause. And then there's the other side, which is they're a little gangster. And these guys don't give a fuck. They're happy to fight each other. They'll fight you. They have no problem with it. And they'll be super smiley afterwards. And I like that juxtaposition because it's the nice guy and the savage, and you don't get that all the time. So when people are like, oh man, we love them, it's very easy to understand why. They're calling for all of the biggest talent. And then you've got kind of like, I was thinking about this as you were talking, Tim. It does seem like right now, Miragali is kind of the equivalent of like when Spider-Man, when Venom becomes the symbiote and he basically gets a little bit of this alien technology. Like Miragali has ingested part of Gordon into him and it has become who he is too. And it's like, it's Carnage and it's Venom all in one because they're essentially the same thing. And now when you see Miragali speak, it's just in a different language. And granted, Gordon only has shown a 3/4 competence at the English language. So a Xerox of a Xerox, it gets a little miffed in between. But there is a compellingness between him and Ty. And why not? And if they were to sign Miragali, it's an interesting chess move because it would force Miragali to sign with them because he's not. So I'm all for it. I mean, these guys are playing a very good strategy game, and it goes to show that there's not just the nice guy side, the savage side, but there is a very good strategy that these brothers are implementing that maybe we aren't giving them enough credit for because they see how Miragali's playing it and they say, hey, how about if I call you out? Now you got to come play with us. And I guarantee you, because I feel this is how they act, one gets a match. The other brother goes, cool, now he's in 1FC. I can get a match with him too. And that's why we love them. Smart work, gents. And you aren't fooling me, Rutolos. I know a good strategy when I see it. So nobody's going to mistake that. Gents, we're going to move on, though. So let us go to our next topic. And I'm interested to hear you guys do this. Full disclosure, I do work behind the scenes with our good friends over at Subversive, so I will be chiming in even less on this one, unless it's maybe to clarify a few things. But yes, our good friends over at Subversive will be putting on a card. It will take place in San Diego on September 8th. And we do have some interesting matchups. But Tim, you were the one to point this out, and you said, hey, what would be your fantasy CJJ matchup? And I'm actually going to start with you, Egg. Is there a CJJ matchup that you would like to see on the Subversive card?
So it's a little interesting because you said fantasy CJJ matchup. So I started thinking about all time interesting matchups. And this could probably still work. Glover Teixeira, a gentleman who won the light heavyweight championship of the UFC as an elder statesman, I believe he was about 40. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, took out Anthony Smith, another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, by essentially ground and pounding him. So I think that'd be really fun with some CJJ. But then, I was like, wait a second, think about UFC light heavyweights. Randy Couture. And again, these gentlemen are up there in age, around our age, Tim. But and again, another guy that can take you down, and then when you're on the ground, pound the heck out of you. I think it'd be more interesting to bring in some UFC type guys, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. Again, they're older, but if it's open hand striking, it's still serious. But they might be willing to do it.
You'd be surprised. Some of the names you've said, I don't know how many degrees far off they are from us, to be fully honest. Yeah. So I can pass these things along. We'll see. But I can tell you this, Egg, without trying, you're not far off the dartboard of where we're looking at. So it is interesting to see that, because I love when Tim posted this. He was like, if you were a matchmaker, what would you pick? And I'm like, hey, bud, I'm not. I'm not. But like, I could be. So I'm not going to steal anybody's ideas here. I'm just saying they have a way I can send them up the right pole. So, Tim, where are you on this, sir?
Steal my ideas. Well, I'll tell you, the future is slap. I think we're starting to figure things going towards slapping. And I'm stoked. You mentioned the Rotullo brothers and them kind of having that martial arts old school kind of thing to them at the same time they're athletes. And I think that resonates with a certain part of the jiu-jitsu crowd and the grappling crowd. I think combat jiu-jitsu is the same. I think it really restores like the martial art functionality to grappling. And I'm pretty stoked to see it at Subversive 11. I think it's a cool thing. I think we need it. We need to keep this around. It's important for jiu-jitsu as a martial art to have these kinds of things, because it shows that there is a balance in the techniques that you can do when someone's putting their hands on you. Having said that, I think we keep the train running here. I think we get Miragali versus Rotullo in combat jiu-jitsu, and we let these guys settle this. I am certain Ty would be down. I think he would do it 100%. Maybe they could do it at one. Maybe they could do it Subversive. Maybe they could do it, in a park. Who knows? But I think he would be down. It would just be a matter of, will Miragali sign on to do a match like that or not? But I would love to see that. The other two names I would like to see, because I personally think these two guys, one is good at slapping and the other is pretty good at getting slapped, but I think he's got some slaps to give, and that would be Andy Varela v. Jet Thompson. Let's run that one back, combat jiu-jitsu style, and let's see where this match goes. But we know Jet likes to muffle people. Let's just put some velocity on that muffle, and let's see what kind of effect it has on someone like Andy Varela. Andy's got some MMA experience. Andy's a tough wrestler. We know he embraces jiu-jitsu, and Jet's just a kid. But man, he's not just any kid. This is the kid. This guy, he's coming for it. When Andy slapped him, he said he wanted to get slapped. He wanted to try it. I wanted to try a slap from Andy Varela. It's like, you didn't have to do that at PGF. You could have probably just pulled him on the sideline and asked him to smack you. But I'd love to see it, man. I'm stoked for combat jiu-jitsu. I think it's super important. I'm glad that Subversive is doing this. if you could make any of those matches happen, I'm saying do it. Let me know, because as a fan, I want to see this. So big stuff there.
Thank you for that. I will tell you, I don't know that the budget necessitates the money that we have for many of those names you mentioned. Of course, we would be happy to put on Andy Varela and Jet Thompson. I mean, I think they just want a place to scrap. I don't even know what their particulars are. I can tell you one person who's probably not going to be doing combat jiu-jitsu, and it's this gentleman right here. And this is how you know we're breaking news and we're putting in new things. But I want to show you this footage, and I'll show it twice. But this is a gentleman who I'm pretty sure would not take a CJJ match. And as you may notice here, a familiar face, if you could see it. My apologies, that literally did not work the way it was supposed to. So I will drop this in one more time. If you look at this, oh, what is happening to my face there?
There you go. You're back, Raph.
Yeah, bro, what was that? Oh my God, now I can't
nice
even put that overlay in there. Oh my goodness, what just happened on that? All right, let's try it one more time, and then I'm going to abandon ship on this joke. Animated overlay. So this was from me training yesterday. And I want you guys to see what happens when a homie who I was training with literally pops me in the face and then literally is like, hey, bud, I'm so sorry. And you know what the worst part is? I told him, I was like, hey, bud, I'm not mad about getting hit in the face. I actually was more concerned that I was going to hit you back, because my impulse was just like, what the fuck was that? And like, I felt my palm do this, and I go, friend, he's a friend, don't do this. And he couldn't have been more apologetic, but told me two things. I love the fact that no matter, and this has happened a couple times because I have helped people who have been in combat jiu-jitsu, no matter what has happened, even if somebody's in a more dominant position than I am, I 100% have been like, well, I guess I got to slap a bitch now. And it's a weird feeling. I don't like it. But I have to say, it is interesting to see what happens when you do get slapped. And I felt like this one was like, this dude was so relaxed. He didn't mean it. You could tell it was just like, all right, man, it's funny. Like, and he looked, he's like, are you okay? And I go, yeah, dude, it's a slap, and it's an accidental slap. You didn't fucking try to wind up and land one on me. You just kind of like in transition. It happens, dude. Somebody before who's fought hit me in the face, and I was like, oh, and I hit him back, and he was kind of like, wait, what the fuck? And I go, you hit me. What did you expect here, dude? Like, what are we doing here? I was helping you. I didn't sign up for this. And it was just like, man, that was really cool. Really respect that. I was like, dude, I'm not trying to win any of these dumb things. So every time I tell that story, somebody in combat jiu-jitsu goes, isn't it dope? And I go, for you? That's a very clear delineation. I didn't sign up for any of this. So what I would say is this. I think there's some probabilities here. Walla, you asked a question, which is for all of those individuals that Egg was mentioning, can they get sanctioned? The answer is probably. I think the people who can't get sanctioned right now are the new CTE Avengers in Ryan Garcia and one BJ Penn, because those two hanging out together is bad news. So I would hope those guys don't become two besties. That actually concerns me a lot more than I thought it would. So that's what I got on this one. Gents, we're going to go to our next topic, and here's why. This one, it slightly makes me sad because apparently, and shout out to our good friend Andy, who not only retweeted this, so if you are joining us from Twitter, this is the topic I think you guys were definitely waiting to see. But Andy saw somebody in a comment section put up the following comment and video. And it reads, here's footage of John Moxley from AEW losing another jiu-jitsu match to Food Lion's Employee of the Month. So here, just to make things clear, it looks like Moxley is on the wrong side of a decision. And he looks over at his opponent. His opponent's going to shake his hand, and it looks like Moxley is getting introduced to what many of us here in jiu-jitsu know as not a great decision. When the referee decides, hey, maybe you didn't win. And it really did make me kind of look at this in a different light. And it made me say, I'm sure to civilians, it isn't the best thing in the world. But I would like to get your interpretations. And I'm actually going to start with you, Egghead, on this because you did a little bit more research on it. Can you kind of explain to us what was happening and when this took place?
So at least the video was posted originally in August of 2023 by one Christian Mary, who is the Food Lions Employee of the Month, apparently, according to the streets. So just a kind of a standard match, no gi. After about 90 seconds of dancing bears, this Christian Mary guy was coming forward. He was trying to look for the takedown. Let's try to inside trip. Then he goes for a Sotogari, the outside action, and gets reversed by Moxley. So Moxley gets the takedown, gets the 2 points. After a little while, he wasn't really doing anything, pretty much just hugging him. And then Moxley gets a sweep, so he gets his 2 points, and then puts him in a pretty decent ankle lock. If he would have gone belly down, he probably would have gotten it. But then time expires. Well, I'm sorry. They have to both get back up, and then again, the Christian Mary guy was coming forward and actually tried for a takedown. Not a great takedown. Hey, my wrestling's not amazing either, but he at least went for one, and that's when time expired. And so, pretty sure. I mean, if you're a judge in that situation, had an actual submission attempt that was, fairly close, and again, tried for the takedown and kept coming forward, and so got the decision.
Thank you for that. Now, Tim, just based on the 7-second clip, take that context out of the situation. What was your reaction to it?
My first reaction is this dude is a professional wrestler, and I think he probably was like, wait a minute, that's not what the predetermined outcome was supposed to be. I was supposed to win the match. Like Dave Hebner, the referee, he blew that one. Not a good call, buddy. I don't know what happened, but I'm thinking, man, this guy doing jiu-jitsu, I have a perfect opponent for him in Jamie Carnell. These guys should match up. They should be a tag team. They could be a tag team. We could resurrect SUG or underground grappling. Call Uncle Chael up, get him on the phone, get that tag team grappling going. These guys could win it all. They'd be a fantastic wrestling or a tag team duo in jiu-jitsu. But I don't know what happened. He looked utterly confused, though. He looked at the ref like, I should have won this match. I can't believe I didn't win the match. And then when his opponent came to shake his hand, I don't think he even Hollywooded him. I think his opponent wasn't even on his radar at that point. He was just laser focused on the ref. I don't know what happened, but Food Lions Employee of the Month, that's nothing to sneeze at. Why are you going to talk smack about a guy or make light of a dude being Employee of the Month? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not cool at the same time, but I don't know, man. I don't know what happened.
Good. Okay. So I'm glad we have a certain level of confusion here, and I'd like to kind of take the lead on this one. So I get this. Wrestling fans can be sometimes a little bit tribal. And yes, it is fun to maybe watch and see like, oh, how would a pro wrestler do in our world? But I think it's actually cooler that Jon Moxley is trying to do this. There are a few guys who kind of compete in jiu-jitsu who are pro wrestlers. And when you see that happen, it should be kind of dope because not everybody competes. Not everybody has to. And if you're Jon Moxley, you probably make enough money where you don't necessarily even need to remotely show up to a tournament. But I think if you look at this footage and you really, really analyze it and try to get to the core of what it is, let's start here. Jon Moxley is legitimately just confused as to what's happening. And I don't think anybody who's competed would really say this is unfounded to them because we've all been in a spot where, guess what? we've been on the wrong side of a decision. And when that happens, you end up having a moment where you go, wait, did I just lose? And I don't know if people know this, but I've also been in a situation where I've competed, been exhausted from that moment, and I raised my own hand when I lost. Like, no one is always going to be of sound mind here. So I think Jon Moxley was legitimately surprised and had a reaction. But people are taking this 7-second clip out of context because, granted, somebody did the homework here in one egghead. But I don't think most people did that. I think most people just looked at the reaction and thought, what a bad sportsman here. You don't have the context of what happened afterwards. You don't know if maybe he went up to him afterwards and said, hey, good going, guy. And if you've competed, you know that fog exists. So it's not going to excuse anything here. It's just, why are we taking pot shots at a dude who went out to go test himself in a very different way? And probably brought some great attention to, as Tim and many of you were saying online, was that, and let me quote here properly, that Food Lion's Employee of the Month. Tim, you definitely mentioned this on your analysis, which is, why are we taking pot shots at individuals who come from any walks of life? That's the beauty of the jiu-jitsu tournament. I have been beaten by people who are just, I don't know, everyday people. That's what happens. I'm an everyday person as well. When you step onto the mats, every one of us is an everyday person. It's just fun to take the piss out of somebody here. And yes, I don't have the full context to know maybe he was being a dick. You don't know that. But I just find it hard to believe that Jon Moxley went up to that dude, said something inappropriate, when in actuality, in those very short seconds, probably thought, wait, did I lose that? And then thought, what's the process here? And I beg any of you, if you've ever competed, to not lose your shit in public when you have been on the wrong side of a decision. It is not easy. There is a little bit of a gut check. And not all of us have that moment where we think we act at our best selves. I have definitely, after a match where I thought, maybe I won that one, went up to an opponent, I shook his hand afterward, but that didn't make me a better person. It just meant, okay, that sucked. And then you think about it and you have a better reaction. Maybe that's cool. Yeah. I also put up a video once where somebody, I'll have to find this footage, but somebody didn't shake my hand. So the way it worked was, the match finishes, I got the decision, they raise my hand, I went in to shake the dude's hand, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he went to take his ankle little thing off of him that tells you who the people are. So it literally went like this. I was like, okay. Oh, God, I eked that one out. And, okay. I didn't go out and be like, fuck this dude. We made a funny video where I was like, hey, man, you know what I should have done? I should have done the Stephen Thompson to myself. And even in the video that we put up, I even said, hey, man, I don't know if this dude meant it. And if he did, so what? Like, it's not the end of the world. So to those of you who were giving my boy Andy some mess in the comment section, yes, this is an older video, but for whatever reason, it made the rounds again. And not only that, there were people in there where Andy was trying to explain to them, hey, you probably never have competed before. And everybody was like, nah, fuck you, dude. It's all about sportsmanship. You don't know a thing, Andy. And Andy's like, I train, bro. Like, what the fuck is this? So just wanted to point that out there. Andy, we love you. We got your back. The rest of you yahoos, please come take on a Food Lion Employee of the Month and see if they don't wreck your business.
Yeah, no shit, right? Food Lion's not to be messed with.
He actually did shake his hand before the decision. So before that video clip started, he did shake his hand after the match was over, before the decision.
Jesus Christ. Thank you. You know what? I'm so glad that's exactly how that worked out, because I didn't even know that shit. Egghead did the research, looked at it, already told you he gave him the sportsmanship what's up, The only thing he didn't do is the secondary shake again. How many times are we greeting the fucking king and queen of England here and being like, sir, this is the third shake we do now. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. It's just, I think it's a very clear example of jumping to far too many conclusions when in actuality, if you keep up this shit, that is how cool people will not come do this. That is how cool people will not endorse us. That is how cool people won't give us money. And I don't know if you know this, but our jiu-jitsu kind of be poor. So think about the long-term repercussions. And if you aren't a jiu-jitsu guy and you're just a pro wrestling fan, my door is always welcome. You are always welcome to take my class. And don't be surprised if you get caught with a pro wrestling move. It won't even be by me. I'm pretty sure some of my guys will 100% be able to catch you with them because they're now pointing out like, so this is how you did that? I go, mm-hmm. And then I see my minions starting to do shit and I go, you're not doing real jiu-jitsu. You're doing my jiu-jitsu, which is just A+ with me. I do like this. Wallow said after the match, he did shake his hand and then gave him his finisher. Yeah, he gave him, what is that? The Future Shock DDT? That.
There you go. Yeah.
Good for him. All right, guys, I've said enough here, but I just wanted to bring that one up because I saw the internet ganging up on a fellow jiu-jitsu practitioner. And I was like, how is this dude getting pummeled on when he's just
his reaction wasn't even that big of a deal. I've seen guys go way crazier than that way out of control, crazy over. I've seen coaches jump over the banister and run on the mat and flip out. Like, come on.
Hey, shout out to our friend Raul Rosas, who I saw was watching along with us. Good for you. Raul, I have to say this. 1, you owe me an interview. 2, what the fuck, bro? Where's my interview? And 3, I don't know if you know this, but all of us brown people, everybody's yelling out chiwiwis to us. And I don't know what always to do because I don't know fully what it means. So I just know you said it's something you guys say, but now it's something that people are saying to me. And this is a great point. Jason says, sometimes I forget to shake the coach's hand after a match. A guilty as charged there as well. You know what I've done? The worst one here is I've gone up to actually shake my coach's hand before the other coaches. And I've always been like, I'm not smart after a match. As composed as I am, I think you have anxiety and nerves and it's weird. But Jason, nothing will ever beat me raising my own hand when I lost, because there's definitely a moment where I go, God, that's embarrassing. I think that's on film.
It's so funny, though.
Because all I'm trying to do is be like, hey, good job, this guy. Instead, it looks like I'm giving myself a participation trophy. And I go, this is really dumb. Oh, man.
Courtesy clap for me.
You know what it was? I legitimately thought at that point, I was like, I think you need to put me in the home now. I think I have enough evidence. I think this has been fun, guys. I'm clearly having my dementia moment. All right, next topic. Well, speaking of things that are happening that are interesting, we do have our commish, who's having the time of his life. And I wanted to give you guys a peek as to what it is he's doing while following along with our good friend, Senor Zoltan, over with the 5 Finger Death Punch crew. Just check out and see. Maybe he's having a good time. I can't tell. Oh, look. He is Iminaring and taking out good friend of the show, Samson, and says, no, let me do it again. And then goes in for a second. And Samson's here just looking around, enjoying this crowd that I don't think came for the jiu-jitsu, but is probably entertained while they're in between things. Yeah. So, Tim, you were the one to find this footage. What say you about what you're seeing here?
A couple things going on. Look, Brandon McCaffrey likes the stage. So he's on the stage. He's going to do some moves. You know what I'm saying? This was in Budapest. This is 5 Finger Death Punch on tour with Metallica, which is insanity. Brandon McCaffrey, Samson foam about. And if you watch the clip, I got to ask Brandon about this. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but that's what a good friend does. I think he tried to hit the Imanari roll the first time, but he came up on double outside Ashi, and so he rewound it and did it again in the set. See, he's on outside Ashi there, and then the second time he comes through and he hits a proper Imanari, and he hits it on the other leg. He said, "Oh, that's my bad side. Hold on, there it is. Boom." He did. Though I think he's okay. He looks like he's okay. He looks like he's having literally the time of his life. And honestly, good for him, man. This is a guy that's doing really cool stuff, and he's a good friend. So I'm happy for all those dudes out there. But damn, getting an Imanari on the stage, I'll tell you what would have come out of my mouth to Samson. I would have said, "That's a tap, right?" And then I would have walked off.
That's very good. Egg, when you saw this footage, what was your reaction to it?
I've just been following Brandon this last few days, and it's been completely. I think he even referenced it himself. It's just Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, sometimes you might miss it. He's living his best life. I mean, he's over there jamming, playing piano, playing guitar, in Imanari rolls on the stage. Being like 5 inches away from the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch during concerts. Man, he's having the time of his life. I mean, one thing's also he wanted to be a musician, and now he's right there, and he's at least a part of the feeling, the team there, and he's living his best life, and hey, good on him.
Let me just point out one thing here. I do want to replay this footage one more time, but I'm going to actually voice dub it as if you are hearing Brandon McCatherine narrating you through it.
Oh yeah, do it.
Here we go. Oh my God, y'all, take out this nice little inversion I'm doing. Oh shoot, I didn't do it the right way. We got to do it again. Okay, get up. Oh man, I'm having so much fun. Hey, just stay right there. Hey guys, look at this. Oh, look at my glasses. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm an Imanari on this stage. Oh, yeah, that counts. So, I would say this. BMAC is so beloved in our community that I like that if we are going to send a representative, it is good that we are sending him. Like, if we had to vote, I think he would probably win in a landslide as somebody we would select to go represent us in these concert settings. But watch this fool be the first person to Imanari his way into an actual contract with a major label. Like, they're like, man, who is this guy? He's got charisma. And then he gets up, and then he's essentially the Hawk 2 girl of death metal music, where they go, he can't possibly sing, and he comes in, he goes, oh, but I can, and I play music as well. And they go, shit, he's got a 3-album deal with Nashville Records. This dude is the new star. So anything can happen. It will not surprise me if BMAC has representation after these videos. But gents, we have a couple more things to talk about here, and I'm glad that we went from BMAC to, well, what is going on here? Craig Jones and Luke Rockhold. I want you to look at the photo that is up. I think it's that way, right? No, it's this way. So the photo that is over here, I knew when we cropped it, it would look weird. I didn't know it'd look even that weird. Like, you have all the context that you need. So I'm going to start here. Egghead, what is happening in this photo? And can you kind of give us at least some sort of context into why this photo happened, if you can?
So, all right, big to small. This is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations, UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritages. It is the 663rd Annual Historic Kirkpinar Oil Wrestling Championship in Northwest Turkey. So wrestlers take part in oil wrestling where they douse themselves in olive oil. If you look at the stories, apparently the champion there won his championship match in the 56th minute of the match. And by the way, it's also 98 freaking degrees out there. This is insanity. And I guess the globetrotting Craig Jones and Luke Rockhold decided to take part, or at least were adjacent to it, and well, they got into some extracurriculars.
Thank you, and that is putting it mildly. So, okay, yes, that is what's happening. And you know what's weird? You did give us good context. I still feel confused. So I'm going to go to our other side here and say, Tim, what else are we missing here? Because I want to ask this question. How does a match go 56 minutes? And how do you win this? Like, what is the intention of this? Is it just to get a submission or a pin? Because I know people have joked about this, but Craig hears the joke and goes, I hear you. If only somebody did. And that somebody is me. I'm going. So what else are we missing here, if anything, Tim?
Well, once again, big olive oil is getting involved everywhere it can, and it's infiltrated grappling. And it's just one thing that the olive oil conglomerate is doing to make sure people use olive oil. Look, I'm not positive, but I know that this has been around for a long time, 600 some odd years, which is wow. That's amazing. That really is actually amazing. My question is did the olive oil start in the beginning, or is this what happens to grappling if it sticks together for hundreds of years? Eventually, like, it goes through its gi phase, it does its points, it gets to sub only, it has its Eddie Bravo, it has its Gordon Ryan. But 600 years from now, dudes are wearing leather trousers, dousing in olive oil, and trying to put each other on their back. I don't know, but I will say this. These dudes are serious athletes, for real, man. If you watch these matches, they're fantastic. It seems a little a little off-putting, but it's the same way I felt when I started doing jiu-jitsu for the first time, never having a grappling experience. Like, that close connection to another person was like, whoa, I got to get used to this. This is even more invasive than that, but it looks like it's fun. Obviously, Craig Jones and Luke Rockhold, these are two dudes who basically are doing whatever they want, whenever they want. And I would too if I was either of those guys. Obviously, they're having fun. Obviously, Craig is just like Brandon's having his best life. I feel like Craig is in that moment of his life as well right now. But yeah, these guys were there for this big UNESCO event, and if you check the Instagram, you could see him doing some matches and wrestling around using this style of grappling. The feature of this is because you are olive oiled up, your only real grip is either inside the pants or at the knee cuff. And that's kind of it, which I think what it does is it encourages slamming. Obviously, there's no submissions. I don't even know how you would submit somebody, in this. So, yeah, I don't know. What we really the topic I should have come up with was, who would you like to see in Turkish oil wrestling? Because that would be interesting too. But for now, we'll just leave it at that.
What a true patriot you are here, Tim Freeman, being like, man, I really wish I had done a better job on this topic. If only I had the foresight for it.
Well, one more thing real quick. This is it has such a long-standing history. The wrestling technique called the Turk was coined after this and through this over the many, many years of grappling. So it definitely has its place, and it's definitely had an impact on wrestling. Even though it seems niche to us in the West, this is something that's very, very important to them. So, and it's had an impact. It's kind of cool in a way, but I probably am not going to do it. But I'm a no-gi guy, so.
Sure. And I mean, you did bring up a good idea, which is all of this seems silly until it's not. I think the weird part about it is the intention behind it. So it's kind of like, I don't think Craig was doing this to be a good sport. I think he has a curiosity in terms of, why not? I'll just do it. I think there's the implication of, hey, this seems pretty gay and that's funny to me, so we're going to do it. And then I think the other additional aspect is him being like, hey, Luke Rockhold, what can I do to convince you to come do this with me? And I think Luke is just like, I mean, I'm in for a lot of things, but why are we doing this particular thing? And I think to him, he probably sold the like, I bet you're probably not good at it. He goes, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
No one outgays me. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the intention behind it rather than the sportsman element. But if they did go as sportsman, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a different thing into itself. And you mentioned the real life application of calling something the Turk, which comes from this aspect of it. The one thing it did do was generate interest from people who just go, oh, I've been waiting to these gay jokes. Great. Oh, I'm so glad somebody gave me a venue where I can comment on them, because people were ready and very excited to chime in about it. I just knew when I saw it, I go, Craig is incredibly smart at what he does. And this is going to get so much engagement, and he'll be nothing but tickled by it, that it will have accomplished what he wanted to accomplish in literally 20 seconds on the internet.
He makes fun of himself so much that the New Wave crew and anybody else who wants to take a shot at him, they can't, because he already does it. He just puts the arrows in his own chest. He's like, aha, look at me. I'm silly. I'm a goof. I'm a dork. And then the whole time, on his other hand is to like strategically work against you, you know? So he's a smart dude, man. He is definitely the Bugs Bunny of jiu-jitsu. You nailed that.
Thank you. I do find it funny, though, that when he does do it, there is a part of me that does wonder if you're the New Wave people, if you go there and go, damn it. Like the evil guys in like the 70s kind of Animal House moment, like it's the principal, the dean going like, oh, those, oh. That's rats. The kind of reaction I think you see from New Wave on a regular basis when Craig is very aptly getting himself. Egg, do you have any other comments or notes or observations from any of this?
Well, I just love Tim's point about, you know, I kind of think about like, he's kind of like Eminem from 8 Mile. He's like, hey, you know, okay, New Wave. New Wave's like, okay, we're going to hit him with this, and this. And Craig Jones is like, yeah, I'm silly, I'm goofy, I do gay stuff. And he just beats him to it. And as you said, they just, I don't know if they say rats, maybe they just like freeze. Like, we had something to say finally. We finally had some ammo. Now we don't. Okay. Womp womp.
I do think that more often than not, they do probably end sentences with, you win this one, Craig Jones. Like, I think
they probably go, good one, Gordon. You got him. You got him, Gordon. Good one. You know what?
They 100% have to do the like affirmations to Gordon. That's like, you really, you said some facts to him. You have beaten him in the past. And he goes, yeah, I have, haven't I? That'll show him. And then meanwhile, the rest of the internet's like, dude, we don't give a shit. You're the one that gives a shit. So
maybe like Don Hurst says like, touche, Craig Jones.
I wonder, here's something just to think about, guys. In the past, when Craig was dropping videos, he had already had a bunch of things lined up. And it was the video. And then later you're like, oh, he was doing this then. I wonder if this is a clue as to what he's got cooking up next. Like, he doesn't seem to arbitrarily travel these days. It seems like he's like doing things with a purpose. He's having a great time, but it's like, what, is he going to bring one of these dudes into CJI? Is that why he was even out there in the first place?
Or like, there's an exhibition match. Angle? It could be that, right. That is one of the things that they put on as their resetting thing. I think that's a bad idea for the mats, though. I would 100 like they'd have to do it over the side.
Have a stage. Yeah,
like, it's kind of like when WCW had 3 rings, and they were like, "No, don't worry about those 2. We're doing it in this one, but we need 3 for like for later. The war aspect of it." Yeah, one's got to be a bloodbath one. The other one's like where we prep our chicken. This to me is just like, it's fascinating in that as much as I can predict things, I didn't have that on my bingo card. I should have. And then once it does happen, as you mentioned, Tim, you go, is he just giving me clues? Yeah. Am I supposed to piece this together? guys, I know who shot JFK. Like, that's what you're supposed to get from all of these Craig Jones clues, that you go, oh, okay, now I know what's happening here. Like, I think he may be in his own savant way telling us something that is larger than life in all of this aspect. Well, gents, we're going to go to our last little thing, which is our gallery. I will say, Tim, did you send me 4 or 5? I don't remember.
I thought I sent you 5, but it could have been 4.
We'll see. So your guess is as good as mine. Let's go to these. And do you mind sharing the context behind what it is that you sent me on them? So this first one was Andre Galvo.
Yeah, he does the chin rub and then the smiley face. So earlier in the day, Craig posted a video saying, we need a heavyweight. We got one more spot open. Who should get it? And it's just like comment after comment after comment. And it's everybody tagging their friends and their homies. And this one regular dude was spamming it. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you just had a regular purple belt? Just pick me, pick me, pick me. And then right in the middle, I see Andre Galvo. It's just like, it's like, oh, that's interesting to me. If a guy like Andre Galvo puts his hat in the ring for something like that, like that would be cool to see. So that was one of the comments that popped up. I thought, maybe Andre's getting the itch again to get out there and compete.
Interesting. So let's kind of go through some of these that you pulled. And these were in response to people who want to be in that division, that plus 80 division, correct?
Yeah, they either want to be in there, or they're offering suggestions, or they're asking him a question, or they're snarking. And it's all pretty funny. So, yeah. So
the second one that you put up was from our good friend Mike Lady. And it said, Danaher blocked me because I kept asking if Taza Garami was a junior or a senior. So this is independent of that, or was that in the same comment section?
It was in the same comment section. Yeah, all these are related to that post. It's all the same.
It's why I had a hard time trying to figure out. Like, this is no offense to you, Tim. It's just, when sometimes your cat drops a bird in front of your porch and you go, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, that was me when I saw this one and I go, I think I can make sense of the other ones. I don't know what this is. I hope is it from there? I'll ask him when we're live. But Mike he definitely has said, he's told me this in the past, but I do find it funny that we can't get an up or down on how to define varsity or junior varsity. It's just who wins and who we want to take credit for. So there is that.
Exactly.
Let's go to our next one, which was, I think, one of the first ones. So we got the Galvo one. Let's go to this one. And this is over on the side. So what am I looking at here on these, Tim? Because this is the one that has Craig, and we had a couple here.
Oh, this was the dude just the one guy that said, it struck me funny that he said, do we have to be good or can we just be fat? And I think Tyler Sage was actually onto something. Like, maybe you can just be fat and go win this thing. Like, what if that's the exploit? What if that's how we can actually exploit this tournament? We can game it. You can just show up fat and win the whole damn thing.
So let me ask this. Egg, do you think there's any other thing we should be considering? Because we did mention the sumo, and we did essentially use a strategy that was fat-based. Are there other strategies that maybe we're overlooking here?
I think anytime where an overly large gentleman can just land on top of you, you have a good shot of winning. Whether it be a headlock takedown, even the Uchigari, if they just belly flop on top of you. It's almost like that meme. And actually, one of my old coaches was the subject of one of those memes. It's like, hey, try the absolute tournament, they said. Then it has like the 300 plus pound, just guys smashing him. No, I mean, if they can get on top, they got a chance.
So, let's think this through. Maybe we're just saying, we bird box this and you come in with a little thing around your eyes and you're like, well, I can't see, so I should have a grip to start. Are we looking at other things that we should be exploiting here?
I like that.
Should we come in with oh, you can't use one of your arms, so you're going to have to roll with one of your arms and see if we can do it? Because if these are the extra little things that will get us in there, I'm just telling you, you got to make it compelling to Craig and his band of cronies. So there is that. Let's go to your next one, Tim, because these are very entertaining. So I'm very glad you found them. How about that guy from Australia who lost to Gordon?
I love that even his own fans make fun of him, and he's totally okay with it. It has two hearts. It is liked by what, Gordon and Nicholas or John Danaher liked it.
I mean, it is funny, and I think that they do have to have a certain sense of humor for all of this to work. But I'm gonna look. I think this is the last one. But it was he need a big booty for grappling. So, Tim, what are we supposed to make of this one? He need a big booty guy for grappling. Is that a requirement? Are we looking for that base?
Well,
are we looking for something that's hard to disrupt here? Or just like, man, you really can't get rear mount on this dude because reasons?
I think you're missing it on this. I think that if we go back to the sumo analogy, you could see from the uniform they got big booty. So I think that's all he's saying is basically he need a sumo guy for grappling. That's really, if I can translate that, that's what he's saying, a big booty guy. Not like a guy that likes big booties. He doesn't mean it like that, like he needs a thigh guy. He's saying he needs a big booty guy. Like he needs a sumo. All roads lead to sumo now. I can see it. It's super clear. I kind of feel like I may have wasted a lot, just to be honest with
you. Tim, I don't want to make it seem like we backpedaled our way into genius, but I will say it is somewhat odd that we did have these as a beginning and an end, as bookends. It's just, I want to meet the person who thought we meant, like, no, you have to have an appreciation for the posterior. Like, you have to have somebody who's like, no, man, dead ass is good. I got respect for you, homie. You've been working out. What have you been doing? Squats, man? All right, man, let's get this rolling. Because don't get me wrong, we all have those training partners that do that to get you off your game. And you're like, what are you doing? They're like, hey, man, you been lifting? You're like, shut up, dude. Don't do this. I'm the exact same size. I don't change. Thank you. They're like, no, I'm pretty sure you're lifting. I go, somebody else, not me. It's not going to work on me. Thank you. I know because I am not lifting, sir. Haha, take that. All right. I think I actually, this is the trajectory of the show, just so people can see me in this. I think at the show, I came in like this in terms of knowledge. I thought when we got to sumo, I was elevating my knowledge. I feel as we are ending the show, I might be ending dumber than I started. I'm hoping there's a curve that came back up, but I am deeply concerned about my own ability to draw analysis here. So there is that. Gentlemen, do you have any lasting thoughts or final things that you'd like to say before you start plugging your stuff? Tim, I'll start with you.
Lasting thoughts. It's an exciting time to be in jiu-jitsu. If you're a fan of jiu-jitsu right now, there's so much cool stuff happening. Consider yourself to be really fortunate. It wasn't always this much fun, and it used to be a lot harder to follow. Now all these guys are all over the place, and there's folks like us who are actually trying to do a good job covering them. So I'm pretty stoked about that. There's lots of big things coming up. Outside of that, I'm going to plug my own stuff. Inside BJJ, check us out. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. You could get us on Spotify and all those, all the platforms. It's on platforms that I didn't even put it on. It's just everywhere. You just do it. And it's like, okay, the machine takes it. If you're out in Stockton, you could check us out at 10th Planet Stockton. It has been triple digits out there, but you're more than welcome to come into that hot box and train. If you're out in Nashville, please check us out, 10th Planet Nashville. We get lots of visitors come through, and I'm always stoked for that. It is a pleasure to be with both of you guys. Egg, it's great to see you again. And I got to say this, listen, Egg was my secret. I texted him so many times asking for information, clarifying information, getting his feedback. He was a super valuable resource, and he wasn't stingy. He didn't Hansel and Gretel me and just give me little crumbs. He just gave me the whole the whole pie at once. And I really do appreciate that. It's been a real pleasure to have you on today, Egg. So thank you very much for that. And Raf, you're always the consummate professional, man. It's good to see you again. I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Egg, camera on you. Plug what you'd like to. Say what you'd like to. It's all on you, sir.
Hey, well, everyone, please check out the PGF Insiders weekly show, usually on the weekend, just because it's easier because we're coming from a bunch of different backgrounds. But it's on the PGF World YouTube channel. Obviously, PGF World Season 7 is coming up. I mean, it's in November, but that's going to come really quick. We're going to have 3 different qualifiers. Check out Brandon McCatherine's Instagram for information on that, or come to the PGF Insiders, and we will always have it on there available as well. It's going to be 205 pounds this time. Hey, just want to say thanks to GREASY Charlottesville. You've been an amazing home for the last 3 years, and I'm going to miss all of you. And as Raf has said, and I will now take advantage of this, hey, if you're a gym in Oceanside or Vista, California, and looking for a great student that for the last year or so has been opening up the gym every morning at 6 a.m. before everyone else gets there, and 5:30, so people actually get there and warm up. Hey, I know a guy that's trustworthy and a good training partner. So reach out to Egghead Warrior on Instagram, and maybe we can link up and I could come train at a gym. But gentlemen, thank you so much. When you guys came into the PGF World 6, you added a whole nother element. This is amazing. And honestly, the first thing we would do, all the PGF Insiders, when we got home after the night, is we would rewatch you guys. We listen from the sidelines, but then we would watch the whole show because you guys do a phenomenal job. And I don't miss you at all during the week. I mean, as far as I always catch it, even if I'm doing something else when it's on. I will make sure to catch it because it's quality. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. That's very nice of you to say. And I do love the fact that you did take the advice there, which is you have the forum. You should be putting it out there for people. You're a commodity, sir. And not to give notes, but it did kind of come off like a dating profile. Like that was your pitch that was just like, hey, if you like someone who's tall, can reach the high things, and also isn't afraid to cook and has a good bedside manner that'll wake up at 5:30 when other people won't, how about this guy? And I don't know if they're going to swipe a certain way or another way. I have to be honest. I don't know which way is the right way, because I think all of us in this conversation got lucky. There was I think a text or a meme that somebody put up this week that said, do any of you married folks feel like you got the last boat out of Nam?
Oh, yeah.
And when I read that, I was like, yeah, dude, I can't date in this modern world. My wife and I regularly say to each other, like, yup, we did it. We got out just in time, because I've seen the statistics. I've seen the numbers go from meeting online from 10% to now 50%. I've seen the way people act at bars. I've seen everything. And I've overheard conversations from many of our students and friends who are like, yeah, dude, I mean, it's crazy out there. She did try to stab me, but she was a good time.
Yeah.
Go, oh, okay.
She was nice, though.
I did. So Wallow J said it was Tinderish. So good to know. Well, Egg, we appreciate you, and especially making time for us. And it's such a busy week. But you know what the great thing is that I knew you always bring a certain kind of analysis to the show. And we just like having fun with you, man. Like, it was a pleasure to get to know you, not just from the virtual meetups that we had, but to actually hang out, talk to you as a person. And selfishly, we're very happy to have you out here in California. And I'm looking forward to seeing you out here more and more. So you can't get here soon enough, but please have safe travels with you and your family as you make your way on over to the West Coast, sir.
Thanks, brother.
All right, man. I'm going to close this up, gentlemen. I'll speak to you off air in just a second, but thank you guys for watching. Quick reminders, if you're watching this on Inside BJJ or Grappling Hour, do us a solid. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys aren't subscribed to both of our channels, dick move. But if you got to choose one, I'm not going to tell you which one to do, but you know the right one to do. Just saying. Just Literally, it's a fucking button. Press the button that said, look, I'm looking at it right now. Press the fucking button and subscribe to us, you fucking dicks. We don't ask it. This is a free fucking show. I can point in this general direction. I think it's right here. So fucking like over here, subscribe over here, and then with your grubby fingers, give us a fucking comment because that helps with engagement. And you know what? I'm probably going to get dinged on engagement because I said the fucking word engagement. This is the world we live in. Nonetheless, if you like our shenanigans, it helps us to have future shenanigans. So do that. Like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't know what you want to comment on, why don't you tell us what you think the exhibition match should be? Guess what? Turkish oil wrestling, already taken. Sumo, alluded to. So if you guys got something better, and you know what? Shout out to Nate Diaz. I didn't even get to do the Nate Diaz bit. I totally forgot to put that on the list. So I'm just going to say, yo, much respect. Nate Diaz gets the fucking win over that bum-ass fucking Jorge Masvidal. Fuck that shit. And yeah, did you watch that shit? Probably. Did you buy it? I don't know. Can't really make me tell you if I did or didn't. So there's that. Last couple things. Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get our shit. Grappling Hours on there. Inside BJJ is on there as well. You can also go to our Patreon, patreon.com/grappling hour. Support me, $5 a month. You'll see my interviews 30 days before everybody else. And for a few extra dollars, the extra stuff. Tape studies, blah, blah, blah. You know it. You know what I'm talking about at this point. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Grappling Hours, the Bullpen. We appreciate you. We love you. And we will see you back next week with a brand new episode and another guest host. But in the meantime, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.